This passage of the mantra instructs us to take refuge with all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all the hearers and conditioned enlightened ones, and all the gods throughout empty space and the Dharma realm. It's a passage that protects the triple jewel, and so when you recite it, the demons flee and the ghosts don't stop running until they're 10 miles away. Not just 10 miles, they back off until there's no more room to retreat. They don't dare make trouble, they are forced to behave themselves. That's a general description of what this passage of mantra is about. The details are even more wonderful. Unendingly miraculous and mysterious, it's extremely hard to fathom. This Vajra secret language wells forth from your own nature. Inside the Shurangama Mantra is marvelous magic. Then come 5 eyes and 6 penetrations and the way opens up. Unendingly miraculous and mysterious, it's extremely hard to fathom. The Shurangama Mantra is quite esoteric and its changes and transformations are inexplicable. It's not easy to figure out. This Vajra secret language wells forth from your own nature. The Shurangama Mantra is the secret within the secret. That's the Vajras who come to protect the mantra. Your own nature, it is born from your own Buddha nature. Inside the Shurangama Mantra is marvelous magic. The Shurangama Mantra is called an efficacious language because of its spellbinding power. That's what marvelous magic is referring to. Then come 5 eyes and 6 penetrations and the way opens up. If you can continually uphold the Shurangama Mantra single-mindedly without entertaining other thoughts, then you can attain the 5 eyes and 6 spiritual penetrations. You will then experience the inconceivable, unfathomable changes and transformations that occur which ordinary people are totally unaware of. And that's the reason why I hope everyone will learn to read the Shurangama Mantra and memorize it. Why is it that the demons, ghosts, and goblins don't dare show themselves when you recite the Shurangama Mantra? It's so powerful that there isn't a place in all of space or the entirety of the Dharma realm that isn't flooded with auspicious light. Recitation of the Shurangama Mantra patches up the imperfections in the heavens and the earth. One person reciting the Shurangama Mantra creates power equivalent to one person. 100 people reciting create power equivalent to 100 people. And the weird beings here in this world become very well behaved. So it's better if more people recite. It's an unsurpassed spiritual mantra. The negating prefix, un, actually means, lofty to the utmost, brilliant to the extreme. Peerless radiant illumination piercing the heights is the meaning of un. And surpassed. Well, there's nothing more esteemed, nothing more venerated. Spiritual is what is inconceivable and ineffable, what is awe-inspiring, efficacious and unfathomable. The power of mantras brings a response with the way. When you recite mantras, something happens. Brilliant Buddha's crown, great white canopy of light, unsurpassed spiritual mantra. This means that the light at the crown of the Buddha's head is like a great white canopy that comes to shelter and protect all of us who recite the mantra. No one understands this mantra, nor can they explain line by line and word by word. But if you want to understand it, I can try my best to explain it to you. The Shurangama Mantra can't be explained in a year's time, or 3 years' time, or even 10 years' time. Now I will explain the general intent of this mantra. This mantra is composed of 5 assemblies which represent the 5 directions of East, West, South, North, and Center. The East is the Vajra division with Akshobhya Buddha as the teaching host. The South is the Welling Up of Jewels division with Welling Up of Jewels Buddha as the teaching host. The Center is the Buddha division with Shakyamuni Buddha as the teaching host. The West is the Lotus division with Amitabha Buddha as the teaching host. The North is the Karma division with Accomplishment Buddha as the teaching host. Altogether, these 5 divisions watch over the 5 demonic armies that abide in this world. Because of these 5 demons, the Buddhas split up in 5 directions to repress these demons. Without the Buddhas, these demons would show themselves here in our world. And so, when you recite the Shurangama Mantra, the 5 demonic armies in the 5 directions submit and surrender. They behave themselves and don't dare try to oppose the power of the Shurangama Mantra. The 5 divisions in the mantra are what make it so fine. But you shouldn't be attached. Your becoming attached won't be so fine. Within the 5 assemblies of the Shurangama Mantra are more than 30 sections of dharmas. Before, when I was in Manchuria, the reason I was able to cure people's illnesses was all because of the power of the Shurangama Mantra. But the Shurangama Mantra cannot be used casually. If used, it's not the entire thing that's used, because within it are, in general, more than 30 different dharmas. If looked at in detail, there are over 100. As to these dharmas, there's the Dharma of accomplishment. That means by reciting the Shurangama Mantra, whatever method you are practicing will be perfected. Whatever thing you want to do will get done. There's also the Dharma of increasing benefits. That means, for example, if you don't have enough resolve for the way in your practice, by reciting the mantra you can increase your wisdom, increase your bodhi mind, increase the power of your vows. Everything will get better. When you recite the mantra, everything you hope increases will surely do so. It will increase for others, too. The Dharma of quelling disasters means that if a calamity is due, reciting the mantra will make it disappear. The disaster will be quelled. Suppose someone is due to drown in the ocean. Reciting the mantra can change the situation so that he doesn't get drowned. Or you're on a boat that's supposed to sink. Recitation of the mantra can keep the boat from sinking. Or the airplane is supposed to crash, but you are reciting the mantra and so it doesn't. Nonetheless, you have to take responsibility for dispelling the calamities in your own mind. What calamities are there in your mind? Well, if you merely rely on the mantra, but inside you are a bundle of false and malevolent thoughts, scattered and impure thoughts, lustful thoughts, then you certainly haven't expelled the calamities in your own mind. In that case, no mantra is going to work. And so if you want to avoid disasters, you must first purify your own mind. The purity of your mind is what really dispels calamities. If you are full of greed, hatred, and stupidity, no mantra is going to be efficacious. Our frame of mind is extremely important. We must be kind-hearted and filled with goodness, wishing to help others. Our mind should be wholesome. The Dharma for hooking and summoning is for use when you meet up with heavenly demons and externalists and want to catch them. Just as law enforcement officers catch criminals, so too, the hooking and summoning Dharma catches weird creatures, demons, and ghosts. They do something here to harm others or do some bad thing that causes people to get sick and then they run away. But you want to catch them and so you recite the mantra, using the hooking and summoning Dharma. Well, no matter how far away from you they are, the Dharma protecting good spirits, or members of the Eightfold Division, or some of the 84,000 Vajra treasury bodhisattvas will immediately snatch them and bring those demonic beings back. Even then, sometimes they won't give in and you have to use all kinds of expedients to teach and transform them. If you use brute force to subdue them, then that's the lowest grade of Dharma, it's not a good method. The best methods don't use any sort of power plays to oppress beings. Don't oppress them and don't contend with them. Don't be like an asura tough and looking for a fight. Even when you clearly have the power to do so, don't use the dharmas to subdue them. You should use virtuous conduct to influence beings and then teach and transform them. And finally, there is the dharma of subduing. Demons have spiritual penetrations and they also have mantras. You recite your mantra and they recite theirs. But when you use the Shurangama Mantra, you break through all their mantras and subdue them. You use the power to quell them and make them behave.